Hey Fish On viewers, today I will be tying up the Midnight Fire Micro Leech. This is definitely one of my favorite patterns and one of my most productive, so let's get going. Alright, so this is a pretty simple fly. We're going to start off with an Arex FW560 size 10 traditional nymph hook. I already have my 1/8 bright orange bead on there. This one is brass. If you could find bright orange in tungsten, I would recommend that. However, the brass will work just fine because we will be adding some .015 lead-free wire, 6/0 black uni thread, some black strung marabou, some blue and gold grizzly crystal flash, and one of my favorite dubbings to work with, the Midnight Fire ice dub from Hairline Dubbin. Alright, so we're going to start off with our lead-free wire. We're going to do about 7 to 10 wraps. Push those all together. You can obviously do more if you would like. It all depends on how quick you want it to get down. You can even do a couple more until we're just about halfway down hook. Alright, we're going to take our thread. I'm going to come in right behind and we're going to lock down the lead, or the lead free, I guess we should be saying. Down here, snip off your trailer. Alright, now it's time to pick some marabou. So this is where I'm a little different than most fly tyers, as most fly tyers will tell you to pull off the tips or cut the tips, but personally I like the tips, so you know what, I'm actually going to keep them. So I'm going roughly a hook shank. You can go a shank and a half. It's really up to you. And see, I love that. A lot of people tie it differently, but I am not a lot of people. I'm just me. So we're going to come around. Just make sure that stands up. We're going to cut this off. Right there. Alright. Now we're going to grab some of our grizzly crystal flash, and 2 strands to be precise. You can use more, you can use less. When you tie it, it's all about what you want to do. This crystal flash that we're about to add, here we go, is it was a bit of an odd situation at Mitchell. So we're going to have this a little bit longer than our tail. And again, I'm trying not to knock the camera while I do this. I'm going to lock those down, move those around. But at Mitchell Lake, when me and Victor were there, we were using this fly, and it was performing really well. But the strange thing was that the majority of the fish actually were trying to swipe at this crystal flash. They were literally sucking on the tail the whole time. We're going to do 2 strands on this side, just like that. And we thought it was, quite comical, but instead of hooking up, most of the time they ended up just grabbing the tail and tugging on the tail. So, this crystal flash, and I'm telling you, even at 10 feet down, this crystal flash looked amazing under the water. So once you're confident that that's on there, we're going to come over here. We're going to snip you off. Now, there's multiple ways you could do this. And I'm sure there's dozens of videos on YouTube that can help you tie even this fly. a lot better, but this is how I tie, this is how I'm comfortable with it, so this is how I do it. But that crystal flash, there's something about it that just sends those fish into a frenzy, and they will come and they'll just keep grabbing at the tail. So that is wonderful. Actually, the first rendition of this fly that we were using, it was working, but I had actually forgot to put crystal flash in until we ran into a feller and his wife on the highwood, the sheep, and he was saying, you know, where's your crystal flash? You should always put crystal flash in your leeches. Well, he's not wrong. So the next step is going to be the dubbing. Now, trying to do this without knocking the camera, so I'm going to take some wax and I'm actually going to wax up my thread a bit. You can use pre-waxed thread or whatever you like. You can do your dubbing loops, but I'm a big fan of my noodles. So we're going to pull out our Midnight Fire ice dubbing, and you will notice that this dubbing is actually quite long, and for some people that could be a problem, and if it is, you just got to get yourself a coffee grinder and then do a couple of pulses and you will be alright. Or if you don't have access to a coffee grinder, what you can do is, I usually just get, do I have any here to show you? No, oh yes I do. Get these beer cans out of the way. Well, I have these little white bowls that I picked up from the dollar store, and I would actually just put the dubbing in the bowl and just use a pair of scissors and chop it up, and that works just as good. But this dubbing has to be some of the best dubbing I have ever worked with. From hairline dubbing, I actually switched almost all my dubbing to hairline dubbing, and trying not to knock the camera, I'm going to wrap this back here like that, and we're going to come forward. Now you could do a huge loop or a huge noodle and do the whole fly in one go. To each their own, I guess, but me, I like this method, going little bit by little bit. Now, you can make this fly bulkier, but I find, you know, keeping it somewhat slim attracts the fish a little bit more. They're not a big fan of the big chunky ones, as they kind of look unnatural. So I'm just using my fingers and rolling it over my thread here, creating my little tiny dubbing noodle. And as you can see, I'm trying not to shake the camera. I mean, I'm no professional fly tyer by any means, and sometimes what I'll do, and again, this is just me, if you want a little more security, I actually come back and I do a couple of wraps, and then I come back forward. And that actually helps lock down the dubbing. And there is a step you can do at the end of this fly, which I'm sure a lot of people do, and I also do sometimes, but you don't have to. I mean, you see all these videos on YouTube of people fly tying, and they are amazing fly tyers. Like, they are professional and they are good at what they do, but when it comes to their recipe showing you how to make it, you can make whatever you want when you're at the bench. So if I'm doing this fly and you don't like the orange bead, you want to go with fluorescent green, you go right ahead. But I'm just showing you the fly that works. And it works rather well. I actually did not expect this fly to work as well through the ice as it has been. But this fly has been working great throughout the summer, and it was working great on the ice. Now, me and Victor are going to be getting out here, not this weekend because I got plans with the sister tomorrow, but the weekend after that we are planning to hit Dixon Trout Pond. So we're going to give this guy a go, and that's it. Just gonna build up a little tiny bit of a color there behind the bead. Where my whip finisher at? That's it. This is it. I'll try and whip finish this without knocking the camera to Kingdom Come. Could be tricky. But, there we go. You know what? I might just have to do a half hitch. Nope, we're good. We're good. Do a quick whip finish. There we go. You can do a couple more wraps if you want, but this camera thing is not working in my favor at the moment. So that is it. I will take my head cement and just dab a little bit on the thread wraps to lock her down. And now comes the optional part. So, if you want a little more streamlined fly, oh my goodness, I lost my popsicle stick. Nope, there it is. You can come in here with a popsicle stick and some Velcro, or you can even grab your bodkin and you could tease out the hairs a little bit on the top and bottom. Me, I don't like to do that a whole lot. I find it's fine the way it is. Chop a little bit of that off. This camera keeps shutting off on me, but that is the Midnight Fire Micro Leech. So this has been a very productive fly thus far. This is my first year using it, and I'm sure you will see many other videos of me using this fly. So feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell if you want to catch more fly tying videos that are coming in the future. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.